Welcome to Masterclass number 7. What a journey we've taken together. It has been 13 weeks that we have spent together. And over these 13 weeks, there has been so much that has been revealed. There's been laws, there's been techniques, there's been insights. There has been so much that we have learned about ourselves, about the universe that we live in, and how we can navigate our life in new and very exciting ways. And before I get into some new material on this final session, I want to just review some of the most important aspects of what we've covered. In the very first lecture, I shared with you that you are the cause of everything that happens to you. And I even used an example so that you truly understood what I meant. And the example that I used is that if you're at a stoplight and you're stopped and somebody comes from behind and hits you, smashes into you, you are the cause of that. Now, I know that at the time, it seemed absolutely incredulous. Like, how could I possibly be the cause of that? Well, I think now after 13 weeks, you can understand how you are the cause of everything that is happening to you. Because you are in the energy web, where everything is connected. You have a particular vibration and energy, and it's called in science the energy signature. And this vibration, this energy, is vibrating in the energy web, attracting to you the circumstances, the situations, according to your personal energy vibration. And the universe works with algorithms. And it's very good that we understand algorithms in computers because it's a perfect analogy for what's happening in our life. For example, if you're Googling something about clothes and some new fashion, the algorithm picks that up and it starts sending you information about clothes. Or if you're traveling and you're looking to have a holiday, or maybe you're getting concert tickets, the algorithms pick that up, and they start sending you information, advertisements on concert tickets or travel or clothes or whatever it is where you are Googling, or to put it in a quantum way, where you are putting your attention. Wherever you put your attention creates an energy and vibration. And that you are in a relationship with the energy web. I want you to think about that. You are in a very intimate relationship with the energy web. And the energy web knows and understands you oh so well. In fact, it knows and understands you better than even you do yourself. And how it knows you is by your energy and vibration. That is the secret language of the universe, vibrations. And the universe wants you to be successful. Now again, I've presented this many times throughout this training, but do you truly understand this? Or even more important, do you believe it? You should try, because it's true. The universe wants you to be successful because it is you. You are it. We are all one. There's no separation. This is what science tells us. This is what our religions and spirituality tell us. This is what I am telling you. So why not jump on board? You can believe it too, if you choose. If you imprint this truth into your subconscious, through repetition, it will become a belief, not just a concept. It will become a law of power within you. Using the imprinting technique, you are coding the subconscious, populating it with beliefs which will resonate within you day and night as coded vibrations. You are learning to communicate in the secret language of the universe. You didn't know you were learning a new language when you began this training, but you are, the language of vibrations. Believing that the universe is an active force in our life and wants us to be successful is very reassuring. With this knowledge, we can relax into whatever is happening to us at any particular time. And when we understand that we are the cause of everything that happens to us, that we are a creative force in our life, that we are active, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, but we are active in creating the things that happen to us. Then when some misfortune or things that we don't like or don't enjoy happen to us, then we can look at it in a different perspective. Now, there's a parable that I'd like to share with you, and it's about a hermit that lived alone close to a village, and his name was Jed. And the villagers thought that Jed was very strange, and he was strange because he thought and acted differently from other people. And then one time, Jed noticed that there was a stranger that had shown up close to where he lived and that he was sick. And Jed took him in and nursed him back to health. And the stranger was so filled with gratitude and so thankful for this that he bought Jed a horse. And all the villagers heard about this, and they came to visit him, and they said, "Jed, what incredible good luck. You have a horse." And Jed said, "Well, who knows if it's good luck or bad luck? It might be bad luck that I have a horse." And they went, "Well, there's no way. You didn't have a horse. Now you have one. This is really good luck." And Jed said, "Well, who knows?" So now that he had a horse, he figured, well, I better buy a saddle. He bought a saddle, and he was starting to ride the horse. And what happened is the horse ran away. All the villagers came and said, "Jed, we hear that your horse has ran away. What bad luck?" And Jed said, "Well, who knows if it's bad luck? Maybe it's good luck." And they said, "Well, there's no possible way it's good luck because you had a horse, you've spent your money on the saddle. Now, without a horse, what good is the saddle? If you're going to sell the saddle, it's now used and you won't get much for it. No, this is bad luck that this has happened and your horse is gone." And Jed said, "Well, who knows? Maybe it's good luck." And the villagers just shook their head and went off. Then 2 or 3 days later, the horse returned. Only he returned with 4 wild horses. Jed corralled them, and now he has 5 horses. And the villagers came and they said, "Jed, this is incredible. What good luck that your horse returned, and he brought more horses with him. This is incredible good luck." And Jed said, "Who knows if it's good luck? Maybe it's bad luck." And the villagers again just shook their head in dismay at what a fool that Jed was. But Jed said, "Who knows?" And so he had these 4 wild horses. He was trying to break them into where they were used to having the saddle on them and people could ride them so that he could sell them and make a profit from it. And what happened is one of the wild horses threw him off and he broke his leg. And the villagers came and said, "Jed, this is incredible misfortune, incredible bad luck. You have a broken leg. That's terrible." And Jed said, "Who knows if it's bad luck? Maybe it's good luck." And the villagers just laughed and they said, "Well, there's no possible way that breaking your leg can be good luck." And Jed said, "Well, who knows?" About a week later, an invading army came through the country and came into the village, and they took all the men as conscripts and took them into battle. but they didn't take Jed because he had a broken leg. And the villagers came back and they said, Jed, what good luck that you have not been taken into the army. We're fearful for our men, whether we'll ever see them again. Many of them are going to die. This is great fortune, good luck that you were not taken. And Jed said, who knows if it's good luck? Maybe it's bad luck. Who knows? And the parable goes on. And the principle is very clear. Who knows what's good luck or bad luck? We should not be so basic and simplistic in our understanding that everything that we like and enjoy is good and everything that we dislike or don't enjoy is bad. Life is much more mysterious, much more complicated, much more intricate than that. You never know what is good luck or bad luck. In fact, I have an actual principle, and it is that there are no such thing as problems. There's only opportunities. And I have taught this now around the world. In fact, at one of my seminars, I had a man come up to me, and he showed me a tattoo that he had on his forearm. And the tattoo said, no problems, only opportunities. And he shared with me what a difference this principle has made. When you take on the concept that there's no such thing as problems, there's only opportunities, then every time that you have a problem, a misfortune, then you can look at it and say, maybe there's an opportunity here. Let me share with you how some of my students have used this. Margaret was the director of a nursing home, and she had a staff of about 50, but she had 2 assistants that helped her run the nursing home every day. Now, when one of the assistants called in sick, it was a real problem because it put too much pressure on the 2 of them. But one day, both of them called in sick. And Margaret said, oh my God, what a problem, what a disaster. How am I going to get through the day? And then she reminded herself, there are no such thing as problems. There are only opportunities. And she thought to herself, well, what is the opportunity here? And this is what happens when you take on this principle, is you have to think about it. You have to search for it. Where is the opportunity in both my assistants being off sick and me having to run the nursing home without them? It's going to be hectic. It's going to be chaotic. But then she realized what the opportunity was. She saw it as an opportunity to work with some of the staff that usually her assistants interacted with. And she didn't get to talk to them very often. So she used it as an opportunity to interact with people she normally wouldn't. And at the end of the day, the wealth of information and insights that she received by working with people she normally didn't helped her make changes in the dynamics of how they run the nursing home. And it turned out to be an incredible opportunity. But it only was an opportunity because she took on the belief, and it is a belief. She took on the belief that there are no such thing as problems, only opportunities. One of my students was deserted by her husband and was left with 3 young children. She had no money. She had no skills. She had always been dependent on other people. And she realized that this is a huge problem. I have been deserted by my husband with no money and no opportunities. But then she realized that's not true. There are opportunities, because There are no such thing as problems. There's only opportunities. But she struggled to find, where is the opportunity here? And then it took her about a week, and she discovered the opportunity. What she realized is that she had been always dependent her entire life on other people. First of all, dependent upon her parents. Then she married very early. She became dependent upon her husband. She realized that she had very low self-esteem. She did not believe in herself, and she'd always depended on others. Now she realized, I see my opportunity. This is my opportunity to be independent. This is my opportunity to change my self-image. This is my opportunity to really step out on my own and become my own self, a confident self, a successful self. And again, she had the mind power training. So she had all the tools and techniques. And what happened is she ended up having her own wholesale flower business. She ended up becoming very confident, very self-assured, and 3 years later, she met someone, they fell in love, and they married. And now she has a very successful life. But that happened because she was not crushed by the problem. She realized that there are no such thing as problems. There are only opportunities. I know a director of a very highly successful investment firm, and he has a secret of hiring top performers. And the secret of hiring top performers is this: he does not hire anybody in a senior position unless they've had one major failure, at least one major failure in their life. And he keeps to that. And the reason for that is that he finds that if you've had at least one or more major failures in your life and you've overcome them, it brings resilience. It brings incredible ability to rebound from setbacks. It creates character. There are no such thing as problems. There's only opportunities. When you have a misfortune that happens to you, especially a major misfortune, this is what I call the sacred wound. For example, a bankruptcy where you lose your business, you lose your home, you lose everything. Or a major illness where you're confronted with a life and death situation, or a marriage breaks up. This is what I call the sacred wound. It's a wound because it cuts deeply, and it's extraordinarily hard to deal with. It is a huge problem, a huge misfortune, but it's sacred. And it's sacred because what it will reveal to you is it will reveal a new path, a new insight, a new opportunity if you take on this belief. I remember meeting a yacht broker who told me how the sacred wound had extraordinarily changed his life. Because he was a very successful yacht broker, his marriage broke up, and he went into bankruptcy, all at the same time. And it was huge for him. He knew that there are no such thing as problems. There's only opportunities. And he knew the teaching of the sacred wound. He knew that the wound opens us up to let us look at ourselves, to let us look at our life, to make changes. He understood these principles. He said, an idea rose from the ashes of despair like a phoenix. And what the idea was is that he would write a book about sailing around the world. And he sailed around the world, and he wrote his book, and it was an international bestseller. And he entered into the lecture circuit and had a new life. The sacred wound, don't be frightened when you're wounded. Don't be frightened when you have a problem or difficulty. There are no such thing as problems. There are only opportunities. We can accept everything that happens to us. Why? Because we are the cause of everything that happens to us. Not that we're the blame of everything that happens to us. Let's get out of this blame. But we are a creative force that is causing things to happen to us. And if the sacred wounding is ours to experience, then allow it to happen, because it is opening you up for something new. This is the gift of the sacred wound. If we resist fighting it and feeling sorry for ourselves, we can look deep within for what messages it is bringing and what new directions are being called for. What opportunities for change and movement are being presented to me. If indeed the universe wants us to be successful, then every event and circumstance has meaning and purpose for us. Sometimes when someone tells me they're going through a midlife crisis, I will say, "How wonderful! I'm so happy for you." And I mean it. How wonderful that at the midway point of our life, our psyche brings us an inner crisis to make us look at our life and ask ourselves, what am I doing? Am I on the right track? What am I missing? What should I do now? These are important questions to ask ourselves at all stages of our life. Now, in the 6 laws, I want to go over the first law and the 6th law from a quantum perspective so that we can truly, deeply understand our connection with the universe, that we're in relationship with life, that we're in relationship with the universe. Law number 1 is thoughts are real forces. We are connected to everything. Everything is consciousness and energy. Consciousness weaves and directs energy. So as you're thinking thoughts, both in your daily program of your mind power exercises and in your daily life as you go through the different experiences that happen each and every day, your thoughts are active and they are creating your energy vibration, which is attracting to you the circumstances and situations that happen to you. Change only happens in our life because of chance, choice, or crises. Now, when I say chance, there is, of course, no chance in the universe, but I call it chance because it's mysterious. It's something that we don't understand. And there's much that we don't understand. But the other two, change happens because of choice and crisis. Now, choice is my preferred, and that's why I'm suggesting that you daily work with mind powers and that you are constantly changing who and what you are through your energy and vibration. But it can also happen by crisis. And when you get a crisis, I want you to think of it as the sacred wound. It's a wound, nobody's denying it, but it's sacred because it brings gifts, it brings opportunities, and there are no such thing as problems. There's only opportunities when you believe it. You have to believe it. If you don't believe it, then what happens is it's simply a crisis. When you do believe it, you will see the opportunities that it brings to you. Now, the 6th law states that the inner and outer worlds are connected. But now in the masterclass, we know that there are two inner worlds and two outer worlds. The two inner worlds are our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And we know and understand both of these and how they work. But when we think of inner world now, I want you to think not just of the mind, but now it's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And there's two outer worlds. There's the outer world of time and space, and this is what we experience with our five senses, where everything is separate, everything is independent from one another. And there is the quantum world, where everything is connected, where we live in an energy web, where time happens simultaneously. And in this quantum world, this is the deep understanding of how our life unfolds. So as you contemplate that we're living simultaneously in two worlds, I want you to remember that. The inner world is the conscious and subconscious mind. The two outer worlds are the world of time and space that we experience with our five senses, and the quantum world. And what a mysterious, wondrous, extraordinary world this quantum world is, where everything is connected, where everything is consciousness and energy, and where consciousness weaves and directs energy. Physicists have discovered that all things in the universe are constantly oscillating, generating wave fields that radiate from the objects that produce them. Now, I've spoken of that before when I say that everything has its energy signature, its own unique vibration. This is how everything interacts and communicates within the energy web. This is why I call vibrations the secret language of the universe. And the more we learn to communicate with this language, the more effective we will be in creating our successes. Now, I spoke in a previous session about the techniques of alignment and encoding. Let me take this further with you. There are 4 steps. First of all, the concept. And what we do is we contemplate the concept that everything is energy and consciousness, that everything is connected, and that everything has its own unique energy signature, its own vibration. That's the first part. Secondly, we begin to align with the different aspects that we wish to communicate and contact. For example, confidence has its own unique energy and vibration. So does love. So does courage. So does fear. So does success. That these are archetypical energies that exist and vibrate in the energy web. For example, success has a vibration associated with it. And it's the exact same vibration whether you're a student studying for an exam and wanting to be successful, or a hugely successful multimillionaire closing a deal worth $10 million. The success energy is exactly the same. There is an energy vibration on success. There's an energy vibration in confidence. There's an energy vibration on inner peace. And so what we do is we connect with it and we align with it. And let me do an example right now. Let's choose inner peace. You can right now align with inner peace. the vibration of inner peace. And you can do this at any time that you choose. First, you have the concept that everything is energy, everything is connected, and that everything has its own particular energy and vibration. So what you do is you align with inner peace and allow inner peace to be with you. And how do you do that? You do it with your imagination. You simply imagine this energy of inner peace being in the energy web, and what you're doing is you are aligning with it. And as you do this for several minutes, and you get into the practice of it, you start to encode it. How do you reach the subconscious? Through repetition, 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 repetition. It's through repetition that you encode. So as you align with inner peace, or align with courage, or align with the vibration of success, and it's the archetypical energy. It's not, I'm going to be successful in my life, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to heal myself of my illness, I'm going to attract a relationship. That's specific. This is in a general way that you're aligning with the vibration of success. And you just allow this energy to vibrate within you. And you do this using the will and the imagination. Now, I have shared with you already that when the will and the imagination are opposed, the imagination always wins. Now, what makes the imagination so powerful? Well, now from a quantum perspective, you can understand that very clearly. Because if in your imagination you are imagining having this energy in you, and you do it over and over and over again, then you are attracting that energy to you. And you're doing it through intention. Now, I want to explain about the different aspects of wish, desire, intention, and the will. They are all different energetics. A wish is desire without much power. You may want something or wish for something, but if it is not backed by desire, will, or intention, it is unlikely to manifest. Desire is a more potent energetic than a simple wish. By desiring something, you are focusing your thoughts towards this outcome, which is important. Of course, it will have to be backed by action in both the inner and outer worlds, but this is a major step in the right direction. However, after desire comes will. When your goal is fueled by your will, you do whatever is necessary to fulfill that desire. There is an inner resolve that says, I will do whatever it takes. When you harness your willpower, and it is a power, you activate an incredible force of energy. And like a muscle, the will gets stronger and more proficient with use. The will allows you to laser focus all your faculties. It ignores temporary defeat and obstacles and pushes through until it achieves its objective. Finally, intention. Now, when I use the word intention, it has a specific meaning to me. Some might think the will is more powerful than intention, and it may be for them. But for me, intention is the strongest. Because when I use intention, I use it with the deep understanding of who I am and my place in the universe. I know I am connected to everything, and consciousness weaves and directs energy. It's not a concept to me. I know it. I live it. So when I intend something to happen, My intention is backed by certainty and faith in the laws of the universe and my ability to direct them. I know it will happen. There is a certainty in my faith and belief, a certainty that you too can have with practice. So with quantum alignment, or any mind power technique for that matter, to harness the will or intention, whatever is your preference, to harness it with the imagination is very powerful. Now let me share with you one of the great secrets of life, and that is, you can accomplish whatever you choose with intention. So in quantum alignment, if you intend to connect with the vibration of inner peace or courage or love or confidence, you can. With intention, you make the connection. No more is needed when you believe. Whatever you want, intend it, imagine it, feel it. Yes, feel it. You become it. You are it. And this is the technique of quantum alignment and encoding. And now we come to one of the most exciting parts of this masterclass, and that is creating a model of reality. At this point, what we're called to do is to examine what we believe about everything and to recreate a new model of reality that is visionary, that is supportive, that is transformative. This is the ultimate creative act, and we begin to recreate ourselves from within. You see, we have old models of reality made up of beliefs that we have from parents or peers or religion or our society, and we have come up with a model of reality that explains how life works and what is happening to us. It's messy and it's dysfunctional, and to stay with our same old model of reality would show either a lack of vision or, even worse, laziness. Everything is possible to us, and so we need to recreate our cosmology, recreate our vision of ourselves, recreate the vision of the universe. Now, there's 3 parts to creating a model of reality. The first is the vision of the universe. What is your vision of the universe? Most people are stuck in the old Darwinian model that everything is separate and independent of each other. And I get it. It's real easy to understand why people believe that. It's because what we experience is our 5 senses. But now with our quantum understanding, we have a new vision of the universe. And our new vision of the universe is that everything is consciousness and energy, that we live in an energy web where everything is connected, and that there are 2 outer worlds. There is the outer world of our 5 senses, and there is the outer world of quantum reality. And that the universe is active in our life and wants us to be successful. This is our new vision of the universe. And of course, it must be imprinted. You must move beyond it just being a concept or an idea or a theory or a law into where it's imprinted into your subconscious. That's your new vision of the universe. Now, the new vision of yourself is get rid of I'm limited, I can't do things. Things happen just arbitrarily to me. The new vision of yourself is that there are two inner worlds, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and that your subconscious is your partner in success, that there is two very powerful aspects, and that you are not your mind. How extraordinary to find that out. You are not your mind. Your mind is a part of you, and that the mind must be trained. The mind must accept and know the vision that you're trying to achieve and work with you. And you get your conscious mind working with you, and you get your subconscious mind working with you. And that consciousness weaves and directs energy. And that we are wired for success. We are neurologically programmed for success. And that you are a creative force in your life through choice and through your actions, through choosing your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions. You are a creative force in your life. So the first is vision of the universe. The second is vision of yourself. And the third is vision of what is possible. Now here it gets quite extraordinary, because the truth is everything exists as a possibility in your life. Everything. Now this staggers the mind. Surely there must be some limitations in my life. Everything can't be possible. Well, I now like to quote Jesus. And as you know, I love the teachings of Jesus. And even though I'm not a Christian, I find the teachings of Jesus to be dramatic, revolutionary, and they fit in perfect with our quantum understanding. And Jesus said, "The works that I do, you can do, and greater works, because I go unto the Father." I'm going to repeat that. The works that I do, you can do too, and greater works, because I go unto the Father. And then in another scripture, he says, I and my Father are one. And of course, we're all one. So if Jesus is one with the Father, we are one with the Father. In fact, he says that whatever things I do, you can do, and greater things, and it's the greater things that is the genius of this parable. Because if he had have only said, whatever I do, you can do too, we would dismiss it. We could say, well, yeah, that's encouraging, but how could we ever do something that Jesus says? Well, he says, whatever I do, you can do too, and greater things will you do. We're being called to do greater things. You see, Jesus knew that the evolution of our species into cosmic consciousness was going to happen because he could move into past and future and see what was going to happen exactly like you can as well. So what is possible? Everything is possible. And in creating a model of reality for ourselves, first of all, we choose. What do I want to believe? What is important for me to believe? And you start with fundamentals. Fundamentals are your new vision of the universe, where everything is consciousness and energy and everything is connected. And a vision of yourself, of being able to work with the conscious and subconscious minds. And we imprint the mythic titles of the conscious mind, the mythic titles of the subconscious mind. And we imprint the possibility that we can do anything. And in our creating a model of reality, what we're doing is we're choosing new visionary beliefs about ourselves and the universe that empower us. And through this training, through everything that I have taught you, you can create a model of reality that is exquisite, that is extraordinary, that is totally unique to you, that will work for you day and night, bringing you the success, the inner peace, the happiness that allows you to be a force and energy in the universe for good. Not only is this your possibility, this is your calling. And we are called to create a new belief system, a new model of reality. And in this model of reality, it becomes our law of power. And it becomes how we live. It becomes how we act. It becomes how we think. And it is our gift to ourselves and the world. We become an authentic presence. We become an authentic person because we are unique. We are special, and we can do anything. And being an authentic presence means that we see ourselves without illusion. We see our light shadow and our dark shadow, and we work with it. And our light shadow is our gifts to the world. Artist and choreographer Martha Graham, she put it this way: there is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and will be lost. And that's what happens. Many destinies and gifts designed to help and enrich humanity have been lost by those who thought that they had nothing to offer, who doubted themselves, or had more important priorities. And our world suffers from this loss. Each of us should take it as our sacred duty to discover and share our gifts, our piece of destiny, no matter how humble or great we think they are. And how would we know how humble or great our gifts are until we begin to express them and see where they lead us? We have no idea where our destinies might take us. And we enter into what I call the practice of listening. Now, listening actually is a metaphor. It's not just listening with your ears. It is a metaphor for noticing what is happening in my life, realizing that we are in a relationship with life, and we listen to the still small voice. We listen to the dreams that we have. We listen to the signs and omens, noticing what is happening in our life, noticing that we have light and dark shadow, that this is part of being a human being. And having an authentic presence is being uniquely you. In fact, the journey of a lifetime is becoming more and more you. Having an authentic presence is choosing a new model of reality. And what an extraordinary experience it is to create a new model of reality. Having an authentic presence is being a creative force in your life, living your life with honor, with dignity, doing the inner work, having this as a practice, and being authentic and deliciously you. Let me share with you now some suggestions on how you should approach your mind power practice from this point on. How I'm going to do it is by sharing with you not what you should do, but how I do it. And I'll start with my favorite techniques. My number one absolute favorite technique is contemplation. I love to contemplate. And I suggest that you use contemplation every single day, that you take up a law, an idea, a concept, and you just contemplate it. The insights I obtain during this process are invaluable in my personal journey. To contemplate the energy web and how everything is connected, and how consciousness weaves and directs energy gives me so many insights, which of course I record in my daily journal. That's another technique, the technique of the daily journal, of actually recording what exercises you're doing and the results and insights that you're getting from the contemplation and what you're imprinting. Your daily journal will become filled with insights and jewels of wisdom. I love rereading past entries in my daily journal. I find them so inspiring, and often I've forgotten about them, and there they are, inspiring me again as I read my journal. So, contemplation, daily journal, imprinting, 3 of my favorites. I love imprinting because this is how you create foundation beliefs. And the imprinting technique uses both affirmations and contemplations. Very powerful. There are so many techniques to choose from, and I usually choose 3 or 4 to work with in any given week, and I spend about a half hour a day with my exercises. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but I always do something every day. Creating a new narrative for yourself is a valuable technique. The mind is a storyteller, and it has a story about you. It has a story about your life. It has a story about your possibilities. And as you embark on creating a new model of reality for yourself, your narrative and story will change. Now, I've already suggested a couple of possible narratives. One of them was to become an athlete of the mind. To think of yourself as an athlete motivates you to train regularly because that is what elite athletes do. They have their exercises and routines. They have powerful beliefs. They believe in themselves and their ability to win. They train daily. So having a narration that sees you as an athlete of the mind can be very powerful, and it will inspire you in your mind power practice. The other possible narrative I suggested for you is to become an artist of life, to operate on the premise that the greatest masterpiece of all is a life well lived. And who can argue with that? Actually, this was the first narration and story that I lived, although at the time I was not aware of how this inner narration was operating within me. It began with an epiphany that I had when I was 16. I was being pressured both at home and at school to decide what I wanted to do with my life, what career I was going to choose. I'm 16. Give me a break. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm still trying to get my first girlfriend. But my parents and guidance counselor were asking me, what are you going to do with your life? So I was forced to think about it. The epiphany came in 2 parts. The first realization was that I knew I didn't want it to be boring. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but it eliminated a lot of careers. And then 2 weeks later, the second part came. I knew exactly what I wanted in life. I wanted a fun and interesting life. That's what I want. And I had this theory that if I followed what was fun and interesting and made choices accordingly, I would look back at my life and discover that I had had a fun and interesting life. And that is exactly what happened. And this has been my inner compass for the whole of my life. I was an artist of life before I knew or understood any of these principles. However, now that you understand that the mind is a storyteller and needs a narrative, and that if you don't create your own narrative, the mind will create one for you. Now that you understand this, you can choose the narration. To be an artist of life means that you value what is important to you, and you see yourself as an active force of change in your life. You're not afraid of taking risks and doing things differently and shaking up your life to bring more fun into it. You trust your instincts and know deep down that a fun and interesting life is yours if you choose to create it. You are an artist of life. You are creative. You can make changes. You can be proactive. It opens up so many possibilities when you begin thinking of yourself as an artist in your life. And now I'm going to present you with a third possibility, and that is to become a quantum warrior. And that's where I'm at right now. And that's the model that I personally am working with. I am a quantum warrior living the quantum truths. Now, the word warrior conjures up many different associations. But within this system, it simply means to be the best we can in every situation. It means a dedication to excellence and authenticity in everything we do. There's a Tibetan word for warrior, which comes from the word pao, meaning one who is brave. This is a good description of what we can become when we train and discipline ourselves. We become brave. We are comfortable with who we are. We feel well-equipped and competent to handle whatever comes our way. There's no arrogance in this feeling of competence. Rather, there is a deep understanding of ourselves and the world in which we live. As warriors, our confidence is based upon our understanding and faith in the laws of the universe. We know that we are part of something greater than ourselves, and its power, we have discovered, is our power too. It is our connection with the universe that allows us to call upon warrior energy anytime and to use it in the various areas of our life. Warrior energy is nothing mysterious. All cultures have tapped into this source in one way or another. It is focused, dynamic energy directed towards a specific purpose. Men, women, young, old, we all use warrior energy, even if we don't always call it this. It is warrior energy that gets the exhausted mother up in the morning to feed her children and get them off to school. It is warrior energy that drives the entrepreneur to search for new ways of expanding his or her business, the athlete to train long and arduously so that she can perform at her best, the unemployed to send out resumes and follow more leads as he searches for work, the mystic to strive for enlightenment. Whatever life situations we find ourselves in, they can be enhanced by calling upon warrior energy. But we're not just ordinary warriors. We are quantum warriors. And this has a deeper and more profound implications to it. A quantum warrior, nothing is impossible for us. We are one with everything, and it is this knowledge that we approach the countless experiences that present themselves to us. Every day becomes an opportunity for us to live in an extraordinary way, expanding who we are. Each day is a part of our unique journey, and nothing is mundane or boring, since every circumstance we encounter is filled with possibility. A quantum warrior knows the quantum truths because he or she has imprinted the quantum truths into their subconscious mind, where they resonate day and night as laws of power. He knows the quantum truths. He lives the quantum truths, and he becomes an active participant in the universe unfolding. And this is the possibility of being a quantum warrior. And a quantum warrior is also an athlete of the mind. And he or she is also an artist. So choose your narrative. Are you an athlete of the mind, an artist of life, a quantum warrior? Begin to live this new reality. You see, this is part of the new model of reality. In fact, I dare say it's the most exciting journey that you will ever have in your life, is to recreate an authentic model of reality that reflects your greatest vision of what is possible. Through choice, through persistence, through imprinting, you get to create a new model of reality. And now let me present law number 7. Yes, there is a 7th law, and it is the law of momentum. And the law of momentum states that the direction your thoughts are proceeding in any area of your life will continue in that direction with momentum until something changes its trajectory. You see, the mind has patterns and themes and stories, and that there's a narrative playing out automatically in any area of your life. And it's habitual. The mind works habitually, and it has habits. If, for example, you have scarcity consciousness, then the direction that your thoughts are proceeding in any area of your life around money, it will continue in that direction with momentum until something changes its trajectory. So if you have scarcity consciousness, then you are going to be thinking scarcity all the time without even realizing it. And it's the same thing with self-pity, is that it has a momentum to it. It has a pattern. It has a theme. It has a narrative. And so you're going to find all kinds of things to feel sorry about yourself in your life. It's going to search out validation. It's actually going to look for things to feel sorry about. Or if you're critical and you're criticizing people all the time, if that's the direction that your thoughts are proceeding, they will continue in that direction. And that's why it's so important to identify dysfunctional thought patterns that we have. And it's a lot like walking around with your shoelace undone. Undoubtedly, what's going to happen is it's going to trip you up. And you're going to stumble and you're going to fall because that shoelace is going to attract that reality to you. And it's the same thing with dysfunctional thought patterns. Yet on the other side of it is that if you have a prosperity consciousness, then the direction that your thoughts are proceeding in this area about money, they'll continue in that direction with momentum. And that's what we want to do, is that we want to have prosperity consciousness. We want to have a success vibration, because that becomes our narrative. And this is the law of momentum in action. And I taught you how I created the belief of just my luck. And of course, once that was imprinted, just my luck, what I found is that I started saying it every time something good happened to me. In fact, I continue to say it every time something good happens to me, because it's momentum. It's a narrative. It's a thought pattern and habit. This is why building a model of reality is so important and so valid and so crucial to what's going to happen to us. Because once you build it and once you imprint it into the subconscious, it's sustained with momentum. You see, this works against us when we're unaware of it, and that's the way most people live, is that they're unaware of how and what they're thinking. And when you're unaware and you have dysfunctional thought patterns, they are working against you. But when you are aware and you're creative and you're proactive, then these work for you. Momentum is an active force. And in the beginning, it takes effort, but after a while, it becomes effortless. Imagine that you have a 100-pound steel ball and you want to get it rolling. Now, that's heavy. So in the beginning, you actually have to put effort into it to get it going. But once you get it going and rolling and it's on a flat surface, it has momentum. And to actually stop it takes effort. In fact, you don't stop it immediately. What you do is you get it to slow down by counteracting it, and then it stops, and then you can get it going the other direction with pushing it in the other direction. And that's exactly how the law of momentum works. The law of momentum works because it is a law. The direction that your thoughts are proceeding in any area of your life will continue in that direction with momentum until something changes its trajectory. And that is why the power of habit is so important. Make mind power a habit. Make it a habit, because when it's a habit, it happens automatically. And that is the law of momentum. We've been together now for 13 weeks. And do you know that that's 1/4 of a year? It's amazing. And I'm so happy that you've been part of this training. But now I'm going to have a suggestion for you. Why don't you redo the course one more time? The second time that you do it is even more powerful than the first time. Because the second time, it's not so new and different. You understand the methodology. And I'll tell you, you will get way more out of it the second time than you even did the first time. Now, if you've been doing your exercises each and every day, and I certainly hope you have, then you have momentum working for you. And when you redo the training, starting from week number 1, right through to the 13 weeks, you will get so many more new insights. It will be so powerful for you. You know, I taught this training live for 40 years. I never once presented this program without learning something new. And you might say, well, how could you, John? You presented it so many times. Because all truths, all laws have many different levels of understanding to them. And as you break through the surface levels, you get into some of the depth. And if you've been doing your exercises every day, if you've followed this program exactly as I've outlined it, then extraordinary things are happening to you. If you have not, if you have just listened to the program and done exercises sometimes and other times not, then here's a great opportunity to redo the program, doing the exercises exactly as I've outlined them. Now, I've shared with you so many laws, so many truths, so many techniques, and so many possibilities that it will take you a while to integrate all this. And this is good. You don't get to create your life instantly. This is a lifelong process. I'm in my 70s. I'm still working on myself, and it's getting deeper and richer and more magnificent, as it will for you too. Now I would like to talk about cosmic consciousness and conscious evolution. Something very monumental is happening in consciousness. We are about to make an evolutionary leap. We have been designed with a brain that functions with consciousness and is capable of extraordinary things. But how extraordinary we haven't even begun to imagine. It's actually quite staggering. Nature programs every new brain for maximum potential. An extraordinary amount of information can be programmed even into the most basic brain systems. Most animal species, for example, have complex pre-programmed information about the world that they will interact with, information which informs them on how to move and adapt successfully within that world. Once exposed to their environment, the innate programs within the species are quickly activated. Consider the salmon. Its tiny brain has a built-in knowledge of the magnetic lines of force surrounding the Earth, and it navigates by means of this knowledge. When the inner call to spawn occurs, the salmon can find their way through thousands of miles of ocean and up hundreds of miles of fresh water to the very brook from which they came, and there they spawn. They access this built-in map of the world via their neural programming. Other animal, bird, and insect species have a diversity of equally remarkable abilities, each specifically designed to assist them in the environment that they will encounter. We, the human species, like the rest of nature, are similarly spectacularly wired for our environment. But it now appears our environment consists of much more than we originally suspected. Nature, which programs each species for maximum efficiency, has built a vast and awesome program within us, designed for purposes far beyond simply making a living, raising children, and seeking personal happiness. As important and meaningful as these activities are, there is more. Within our genetic coding, we now suspect, are contained vast cosmic programs, as well as powers beyond our wildest imagination. It now appears that we may well be cosmic beings programmed with destinies and powers we have yet to imagine, and it is just now that we are discovering this. The code of conscious evolution, dormant for so long, is now vibrating within us, calling forth our talents and our goodness. Our brains have been neurologically pre-programmed with cosmic codes designed to recognize signals from both within us and from our environment, and from the future too. If what I'm suggesting is correct, signals have already activated these hidden codes, triggering an evolutionary shift that is propelling us daily into uncharted territory. All this is happening while we're busy raising families, earning a living, and trying to make a happy and meaningful lives for ourselves. It's happening without us even noticing. None of us yet knows the role we're being called to play. Fate and destiny weave a mysterious tapestry. I believe that the next evolutionary leap will be a leap in consciousness, that's where evolution is going. And if this is true, then the collective image each of us has of the future is what is creating the future. Because we are all one. We are all connected. And so it becomes our social and spiritual responsibility to have visions radically different from the pessimistic scenarios that seem to proliferate throughout our social media. No longer can we pretend that it doesn't matter what we think. It matters absolutely what we think. This human race of ours, it's a genius species with unlimited potential. We put people on the moon. We transplant organs. Think about that. You can transplant a heart into a different individual. We've cured diseases. We've invented the printing press, the internet. We've created great art and literature. We are a genius species. Yes, I know we've had wars and there's greed and injustice, but there's also immense good and immense possibility. The code of conscious evolution, dormant for so long, is now vibrating within us, calling forth our talents. Our brains are neurologically programmed with cosmic codes. All the problems that we're having in our society may well be evolutionary triggers, taking us into a new reality, a new world, a new possibility. Now let me share with you the 0.1% theorem. And this comes from the laser beam. You see, the laser beam works with packets of light waves, and each light wave has a slightly different frequency from the one beside it. But when you get 0.1% of the light beams vibrating with the same frequency, what happens is there is a shift in vibration, and all the light beams begin vibrating at the same frequency. And that's what makes the laser beam so powerful. And I believe that there's also a quantum number, a magical number, a special number in consciousness too. Now, it may well be 0.1%, or 1,000 out of a million. And if this is true, then in a planet that has 7 billion people, it only takes 7 million of us to think and act in these new quantum ways to make a cosmic shift in consciousness. And it also means that you count for 1,000. Don't ever think that it doesn't matter how you think, what you think. Don't ever think that you cannot make a difference in this world. Weave the web with visionary beliefs. Create a model of reality that is authentic, that is exquisite, that is yours, that is uniquely yours, because you are an authentic presence. But now, with this cosmic vision, our calling is deeper, is more profound, that we change ourselves from within. We become our best self, and we help to midwife consciousness on the planet into cosmic consciousness. This is our possibility. Wow, what a unique and exquisite journey we've taken together. So much has been shared. So now let me leave you with my final message. My final message to you is, dare to dream. This is an amazing experience having a life, and you now have the tools to create yourself in new and profound and visionary ways. Don't settle in life. Make an extraordinary life for yourself. Sculpt it, create it, manifest it. You are the creator of your life, and what will happen in your life will depend on your thoughts, your beliefs, your choices, and your actions. Your whole life is in front of you. It has been my great pleasure to spend these 13 weeks with you and to share these techniques, this methodology. Now it is yours to use. And I want you to know that I love you, I respect you, I acknowledge you for being part of this journey, and everything is possible to you. So have a fun week, an exciting week, a productive week. Do your exercises each and every day, and have a great life. I'm John Kehoe. Welcome to Masterclass number 7. What a journey we've taken together. It has been 13 weeks that we have spent together. And over these 13 weeks, there has been so much that has been revealed. There's been laws, there's been techniques, there's been insights. There has been so much that we have learned about ourselves, about the universe that we live in, and how we can navigate our life in new and very exciting ways. And before I get into some new material on this final session, I want to just review some of the most important aspects of what we've covered